Hello and welcome back to another video. Today here again on Forza Horizon 5 to take a look at another brand new addition to this game, which is this Corvette Z06. To obtain the new Corvette, all you have to do is complete 20 points in the summer season, which as you can see I've more than done by doing the trial, the 2 event labs, all of the PR stunts, the 2 mainland championships, the photo challenge, the collectibles, and the 2 rivals, which I always do because they earn you points in every week for those other cars that's coming up. But the reason I've got 40 points this week is because, as you can see, there's actually not 1, but 2 new to Forza Horizon cars. So I will be looking at the Belvedere in more detail in a couple of days. For today, though, we're looking at the Corvette Z06. This Z06 version of the latest Corvette is actually already in the Forza Motorsport game. It was in that game from launch, but I haven't had a chance to get hold of it, so I haven't driven in that game, meaning this car's still entirely new to me. The addition of the Z06 in Horizon does mean that we now have 3 C8 generation Corvettes in this game, though. When the game came out, we had the original sort of base model C8, which was actually one of the 3 starter cars that was gifted to us at the beginning of the game, that one being called the Stingray officially, and produces 495 horsepower and 637 torques from a 6-litre V8 engine, and was of course rear-wheel drive, giving an overall rating in S1 of 806 from standard. Then the E-Ray was brought to the game, and was gifted to those who had bought and played the new Forza Motorsport game for free. This had the same 6-litre V8, but with the addition of a hybrid system, hence why it was called the E-Ray, although that would have kind of made it more sense to be fully electric. Anyway, the hybrid system helped bring power up to 645 horsepower, and now producing a combined 802 torques with that V8 and hybrid system. 2 of the 3 electric motors actually power the front wheels in this car, making this not only the first ever hybrid Corvette, and, well, this generation the first ever mid-engined Corvette, but this one's actually the first ever all-wheel drive Corvette as well. All of those changes meant that that car was rated in S1 class at 834 PI from standard. Then we got this new Z06, which produces even more power than either of the 2 models, even that hybrid one, putting out 670 horsepower and 624 torques from actually a slightly smaller 5.5 litre V8, and is the more traditional rear-wheel drive setup that you would kind of expect on a Corvette, giving an overall rating in S1 class of 855 PI from standard. Despite this being a 3rd Corvette, though, I'm really glad to see this one. To me, it's a lot more interesting than the rather boring standard car we originally had, or the slightly understeery all-wheel drive hybrid one, which, to be honest, I don't really see the point of. I actually can't wait to see what the inevitable ZR1 version of the C8 turns out to be like in reality, and, well, in Forza eventually. Quickly, before I went to look at customization and upgrade options, we thought we would drag race this new Corvette against the E-Ray, the previous generation Corvette ZR1, the front-engined one, and an Audi RS7.
Four-wheel drive standards. Okay.
We should be...
Here we go. Why does this car have carbon fibre wheels? That seems like an expensive...
Everyone gets a better
option.
launch than me.
Here we go.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Ewan's catching up. I'm going to pull over a little bit.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Wait,
Oh, wow.
Down. Yeah, that weight slows me down, but that... What you're doing is quick.
There
I think we should do the 2 points.
The
I think we
Corvette
should
should
do
have
the
remained front-wheel
2.6 mile
drive.
one.
2.6
Front-wheel drive, front-engined even. We then decided it would be worthwhile to run a slightly longer drag race to see what would happen in that situation.
I missed the gear shift. Jesus Christ, that was a good launch.
Here we go.
Sorry, Ewan. There's a hole in slipstream.
Oh no, here comes the Audi. Here comes the Audi. I'm going to be actually last.
Keep out of the Audi.
Yeah, I can see that Audi is catching up with me as well. Don't really mean it for him, though.
Oh my
John,
god.
Jay, please don't, please don't.
I'm surprised
Jay.
the Audi didn't get a better launch as well. How's it suddenly faster at the top end?
Typical, I suppose.
For the manufacturer paint options, they're actually very similar to the standard Corvette and the E-Ray, but there's some rather nice bright colours, as you can see. There's the red that you're originally kind of awarded this car in. There's the orange, which I did used to quite like, but I've seen so many Corvettes in that colour in this game that I've kind of gone off it a bit. There's a rather nice sort of mustardy, almost yellow, quite a boring silver, and this lovely blue colour, which is actually what I'm going to put on my Corvette. Unfortunately though, unlike both of the other C8 generation Corvettes in this game, there's not any aero and visual options apart from Forza Aero. Yes, so I'm going to take that back off again immediately because it looks horrendous, and that wing that sort of fits the shape of the back of the car from standard is a much better looking thing. There are a few engine swaps. There's a V10, there's not one, not two, but 3 V12 options. For some reason. And a racing V8. So there's a few options there. You can all-wheel drive swap it or change the aspiration, which would bring power up quite substantially to 1,100 with either of those options, or just over 1,000 with that one. But I kind of feel like anything like that is going to ruin it. Other than that, it's kind of as you'd expect. There's all your usual tyre compounds, rim sizes, tyre widths, although you can only do the front ones, and the track width options, which I might actually do in a second, just to make those wheels fill the arches a bit more. There's your usual drivetrain options, platform and handling options, and some engine upgrade options. I will actually just quickly bring those out. So after a bit of messing about in the upgrade shop, as you can see by the figures on screen, I've kind of ruined this car. I've managed to bring weight down to 1,407 kilos, given it 1,234 horsepower by twin-turboing it and adding all the power I could to the standard engine, and of course left it rear-wheel drive, which puts it into S2 at 946. So now what I'm going to do is go to the oval track for a quick race. And here we go. It's very anti-lag noisy. Surprisingly, it doesn't actually handle too badly considering how much power it has. Even on this slightly tight oval where you do have to brake for the corners. I think my AI is set to tourist mode. Hang on. Right then, let's try that again. Here we go. Okay, well they're not terribly unbeatable, these AI, are they? Up to second already. Yeah, it does though like to understeer, which I'm slightly surprised by. It doesn't step the back out with 1,000, whatever it is, horsepower. I mean, it is on slicks, so... Anyway. And that is going to do it for a very first look at the Z06 Corvette C8 here on Forza Horizon 5. It is kind of cool to have this finally added as kind of the more interesting than the other two version of the Corvette, although it does have rather expensive carbon fiber wheels that you don't want to curb, in reality anyway, but this is Forza, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, drives really well compared to those, slightly more powerful, kind of better version of the C8 Corvette. But yeah, like I say, can't wait to see what the ZR1 is like if that eventually comes to the game. In terms of customization and upgrades, it's a little bit disappointing. No wide bodies and wings and things like both of the other Corvettes have. But you can put insane amounts of power in it by twin turboing it and ruining it, which surprisingly doesn't make it an oversteery death trap, but does make it kind of understeer into the wall somewhat. But anyway, there we go. That is going to do it for a very first look at this new car. So thank you very much for watching, and I will be back with the next one very soon.